Yes, sir. Good morning. My name is Terrence Wilson. I'm the Regional Policy and Community Engagement Director for IDRA.
Would you define IDRA, please?
Yes, sir. It's the Intercultural Development Research Association.
Interdevelopmental Cultural Research Association.
Intercultural Development Research Association. We're an education civil rights organization committed to achieving equal educational opportunity for every child. And we heard a lot of testimony today talking about the higher ed space, but I want to remind the committee that this bill applies to every public school student across the state of Georgia. Georgia students deserve access to the best educational environments to support their pursuits, and research has consistently shown that diversity in schools produces myriad short-term, long-term academic and non-academic benefits for students. Diversity efforts are vital given the history of segregation that we have here in Georgia and the difficulties that Georgia schools have had in fulfilling the promise of integration articulated over 70 years ago in Brown versus Board of Education. Unfortunately, Georgia still finds itself in the top 10 states in the nation for the most segregated schools. And so removing these vital tools that we have in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion is only going to make that situation worse for our students. Beyond simply the racial composition of schools, Black students, Latino students, and other students of color have a particular experience that is impacted by their race. These students experience disparities in academic outcomes, discipline, access to advanced coursework, participation, and graduation. It is our job and your job as education leaders to reverse these trends. Removing the ability for our schools to take proactive measures to address these challenges takes away a vital tool that schools need to achieve this mission of producing the best and brightest students in the nation. The equity and inclusion efforts take challenges presented by different populations and respond with specific interventions that will have the most impact on these students. And I remind you, as the speaker said before, these are still your constituents. Efforts aimed at equity and inclusion are some of the most effective ways for K-12 schools, colleges, and universities to remediate the educational challenges created by years of historical marginalization and systemic lack of investment. Finally, taking away both state and federal funding for schools, one of the remedies suggested in this bill, is incredibly harmful. Georgia K-12 schools in particular have been systematically underfunded for years and currently operate under an antiquated funding formula. Removing funding for schools for efforts to make them better would further exacerbate this reality. While being against diversity, equity, and inclusion may sound like a good talking point, that approach will only lead to worse schools and more negative experiences for Georgia students.
Thank you.